Listen, let me tell you something about this Knicks team. They have the identity. They have the physicality.
We could wake up and the Knicks could be in the conference finals. That's a thing that can happen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Empire State Hoops, yet again, Season 2, Episode 11. What just happened over these past few days in the NBA playoffs? And we're about to break it down for you. I'm Adam Rothschild, and alongside me, that is Matt Vargo. And today's episode of Empire State Hoops has been powered by Sport Pros USA. For more information, visit sportprosusa.com or call 877-HOOPS-NJ to make your dream court a reality today. So, what a start to the playoffs it has been.
Yep.
I know we're going to get into the Knicks and your Philadelphia 76ers going back and forth. But first off, Saturday and Sunday, every single team in the playoffs, all the home teams, won game one.
That's right. They did.
So that was the biggest surprise. And I really did not expect that. We would think a lot of the road teams would make a stand. A lot of those series, for example, like we talked about, were Suns T-Wolves, Lakers Nuggets, Knicks Sixers, of course, which we're going to get a lot into after all that controversy that happened on Monday night. But a lot of these series, like Minnesota Phoenix, for example, you could have seen the Suns maybe go in there and squeak one game. They weren't able to.
They got blown out in both games, basically. That's how bad it got. Lakers had game that also had a little bit of controversy to it. But less so. Lakers more so just blew the game more than anything. But overall, I'd say a lot of the series were as you'd expect outside of maybe like Knicks, Sixers, and Suns, T-Wolves, where we expected the lower seed to maybe grab a game. But overall, not too much of a surprise, but the actual games, peak. Feels good to have the playoff basketball again.
Absolutely. With the playoffs here, back where they belong. And with what specifically that Lakers-Nuggets series, what happened in Game 2 with the Lakers blowing a 20-point lead to the defending champions.
Yep.
LeBron and AD had everything going. There was some calls with the officiating, which we're going to get to more with several of the other playoff series here as well. And I think with the play where I'm sure you saw this with D'Angelo Russell driving in and got slapped.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty obvious. It's a foul call, and it gets overturned because Denver decides to challenge it. I mean, credit to Michael Malone, smart play to challenge it there. You have not really any other choice but to do that with the hole you were in at that point. So I give the Nuggets credit for fighting back because that's what defending champions do.
Yeah, that they didn't lose. I think that was in like the third quarter where that D'Lo play happened. Might have been late third, early fourth, but that wasn't a single isolated incident. The Lakers blew that game long before any of the controversy happened. AD was cooking, and then over the last 22 minutes of the game, I think he only scored 2 points because they put Aaron Gordon on him instead of Jokic. LeBron went cold. Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura were bad throughout that whole game, and Jamal Murray, who was bad really for a lot of the game, he called game right at the very end. Man's a playoff performer. What more can I say?
I mean, Anthony Davis said it in the postgame interview as best as you can say it. Jamal Murray made a shot.
Yeah.
Drop the mic. That's all you got to say. After blowing a lead like that, there's nothing else you can really say.
It wasn't even like it was a good shot. AD forced him into his toughest shot as he could, and he still made it. So what more can you really do there if you're AD? I don't know. I thought the Lakers might have had a chance to steal a game or two. Did they get swept now after that? That is daunting to try to come back from that.
Well, a game 3 for them in LA is probably a winner or go home, just like last year.
Oh, yeah.
They have to win game 3. You have to on your home floor. There's no excuses at this point. I saw Magic Johnson, he didn't even want to send out a tweet after that happened. He was that people are that frustrated.
Might have been for the best that he didn't send out the tweet.
Yeah, I can understand where Laker fans are coming from after these years since, winning the championship 4 years ago. Things haven't been the same. They've tried everything and nothing has seemed to work. I mean, last year we thought they were going to make it, but Denver was just too good last year.
Nobody was beating Denver in the playoffs last year. We doubted them all throughout last year's regular season, but the way they easily took care of the entire field, think Phoenix took. I don't even think they faced a Game 7 on their way to the title. I think Phoenix took them to 6, and that was as good as it got. But the Lakers' problems stem from that Westbrook trade, like 2 years ago. I think it has been, in my opinion, and they are still like reeling from that trade. Lost KCP in that trade. Lost Kuzma. Lost. Is there anybody else I'm forgetting about in that deal?
They lost a lot of big pieces. I forget who else they lost, but
lost some picks too that they can't use to deal for anyone else. Washington has those now. Yeah, but I'm sure that everybody wants to be talking about those Knicks taking the first 2 games, and I feel like let's dissect all that.
Yeah, and before we get into that, there's actually 2 more playoff series that we can also bring up as well. The Mavs and the Clippers.
Oh yeah.
I think this series was pretty interesting to start. You had the Clippers basically having their whole way without Kawhi Leonard.
They did.
So they kind of just blew out of game 1. They had a 70-43 lead at one point in this game.
Yep.
And eventually went on to win it from there. Meanwhile, in game 2, Dallas bounces back. Luka has himself a night. Kyrie plays well.
Yep.
And the Mavericks find a way to tie the series, and they're heading back home with good vibes on their side.
How about holding the Clippers to only 93 points? Now, if you would have told me the Mavs were only going to score 96, I would assume they would have lost by 15. But especially with Kawhi Leonard coming back into that game, although Kawhi was not very good in game 2, still trying to like work his way back. He had missed 9 in a row, I think, up to that point. But yeah, Luka cooked. So did Kyrie. They got some good help from PJ Washington. But other than that, they didn't really get a lot of help elsewhere. But, I mean, hey, got the job done. And I think that series is going to, if any series is going to a Game 7, that's going to be the series.
Yeah, absolutely. With the amount of star talent on both sides, of course. And the Mavericks with their excellent role players. We've seen that all season long from them. And I think another important series that we'll touch on real quick before we get to our New York Knicks and Philadelphia 76ers, the Pacers and the Bucks.
That's the big one. That's whoever the winner will play in round 2.
Game 1, Dame Lillard goes off.
Yep.
He had like 31 points, I believe.
In the first half, I think, too.
Was it the first half, really?
It might have been.
Wow.
I'm going to look that up because I think it was. He had 35 for the whole game. Maybe I'm just like misremembering, but I remember Dame was cooking in the first half, especially to give him that big lead.
Yeah, that was a big thing for the Bucks, and of course they had other guys stepping up. You had Chris Middleton, of course. You had Brook Lopez, all their role players stepping up, making big time plays when needed. And coming into game 2, Indiana, you would think they have to try to get at least one. That was their goal coming into this against the 3rd-seeded Bucks, because without Giannis, you have to take advantage in Milwaukee's building.
Yep.
And they did just that. Siakam had 39 points. Halliburton played well also. And from there, Indiana just went on to tie the series, and they're heading back to their place. Same situation, just like Dallas.
Yeah, and Miles Turner also gave them 22, 6, and 7, so that was also big for them. I think Middleton got hurt. I'm pretty sure he came back into the game, but it was clear he was hobbled. Dame was really the only guy who played well for the Bucks, and we got ourselves a series. We'll see if Giannis comes back. I've heard like conflicting reports of he'll like come back for like game 3 or 4, or like he's just out the entire first round series. I don't know, but we'll see if the Pacers can like capitalize on the Bucks being undermanned, because I think if Giannis comes back, that'll be like the jolt they need for the Bucks to win the series. So I think the Pacers got to take a big lead with Giannis out.
Yeah, I like the odds right now for Indiana, but Giannis being out. But if Giannis comes back, things change. The Bucks get hot. They could win the series, but we'll find out with that. But now it's the important time. The playoff series of the season. I think this is my favorite of what has happened so far. I know from your side of things, not the greatest, but we're going to get to it now. Game number 1, Saturday night. A great atmosphere at the Garden.
It was.
A nice back and forth game. The Sixers put up a fight. I mean, the first thing that I saw watching this game, when I saw Joel Embiid go up for that dunk, throw it off the backboard, slam it in, and I saw that left knee come down, I didn't know what to think. I saw him on the floor. I'm sure you saw the look on his face.
Yep.
He was terrified.
I thought he blew out his knee like right then and there. You see, same knee that's been bothering him all year. When the play happened, like I know everybody was like, "Wow!" Like he did that when he made that play, and I was like, "Please don't be hurt. Please don't be hurt." And then he just crumbles down. I'm just like, "Damn it!" Like that's basically what I said. right then and there. Kudos to him. He came back, and when he was down, like, the Knicks, like, completely took over the game once Joel went down. Sixers looked demoralized. Then he came back, and the Sixers, they made it close. Like, I believe they actually took a lead at one point, or late in the third. But, I mean, what more can I say? DiVincenzo, Hart, McBride gave him a good first half. I know Embiid said that they should be up 2-0. I think it should be 1-1, but because I think the Knicks just straight up beat the Sixers in game one, and I was right. And again, kudos to Josh Hart, especially guy who's like a 30% 3-point shooter, hit the dagger in game one, and when that happened, I'm just like, all right, give us a good first swing. We'll see if we can bounce back, and they almost did, but we'll get to that soon.
Yeah, we sure will. And of course, listen, the Deuce was on the loose in game one. I mean, McBride coming out of nowhere, which was absolutely insane. DiVincenzo, of course, doing his thing. Bogdanovich was great, 13 points off the bench in game one.
Oh, yeah.
And you had Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein in there, basically going up against Embiid the whole game. And with three big guys, with Achua, who hasn't even gotten a lot of minutes so far in the playoffs, they haven't really used him that much yet. But having Hartenstein and Robinson out there, it's been awesome to watch those guys just go up against Embiid, and knowing the Knicks have a bunch of big guys that they can throw at him, it's great. Like, I remember on NBA Today, I heard something about Austin Rivers saying, "Who's going to guard Embiid? Hartenstein?" What happened? The Knicks got like 20. They out rebounded the Sixers by like 20, I think, in game one.
Something like that. And okay, I'll give the Knicks this. Do they have the best player in the series? No, they have the second best player in the series, but overall what I noticed is that the Knicks play with much, much, much more intensity than the Sixers do. Like, through the first two games, Maxi's been great, Embiid's been awesome. Nobody else around them is even passable. Tobias Harris has been awful all series long. Lowry was okay in game one. Batum after the play-in game, no-showed that one, and overall, it's been the Knicks role players have showed up, Sixers have not, and that's primarily why the Knicks are up 2-0. Obviously got a little bit of luck to get that, but as of right now, I mean, for Sixers back against the wall, and we'll get to that soon as to why the back's against the wall.
Well, basically what happened with this luck on Monday night, I did not know what to expect going into this. I expected Philly to win game two.
I did.
But we saw the things with Tyrese Maxey with flu-like symptoms. Went into the game, dropped 39 points, basically with basically his own MJ flu game, basically.
Sixers social media jumped the gun. They posted the picture, and then they forgot that there was 20 seconds still left in the game. But Maxey was great. Like, he was awesome in that game. Like, he completely outplayed Jalen Brunson in game two, and thankfully for the Knicks, once again, the role players stemmed the tide because Embiid also had 34, but Tobias Harris only 10, Kelly Oubre 4, Lowry 8, Batum 6, Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield's also been awful in this series, like averaging 4 a game. Meanwhile, Hart again 21. I'm pretty sure he played the entire game again. So that's the one thing I wonder is how much more of these 48-minute outings does Josh Hart still have left in him throughout this series? DiVincenzo 19, Hartenstein 14. The bench didn't really show up this time, but I'm sure like we're all ready to talk about it. Let's talk about the last 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, and before we talk about it, I actually just want to show it to you because I love watching the play. I know you probably don't just because of how crazy it was with the amount of calls it was. Yeah, yes, you laughed. You literally just laughed. So here we go. The voice of Matthew Kaufman bringing you the final 30 seconds.
Oh, boy.
This is Brunson. Brunson, a three. Got it on the bounce. A lucky bounce for Brunson. Larry trying to inbound. Double team. Lost the basketball. Maxey gets it and puts it on the ground for Hart. Hart picks it out. DiVincenzo a three. Won't go. Rebound Hartenstein. Out to Anunoby. Back to DiVincenzo a three. Money ball! Money ball! The garden is shaking. Maxey with 10 seconds. Drives in. Blocked by Hartenstein. 8 points tonight. Has not taken a free throw till now. and he hits the first. Second free throw is good. He's going to hurry it up the court. Down to 3, down to 2. Gives it to Embiid for the tie. No good! No good! Knicks lead the series 2-0, winning 104-101.
Now, with this final 30 seconds, there's so much to break down in this play.
Yeah.
Because, first off, Kyle Lowry misses the free throw. The Knicks
Yes.
have the ball. It's 101-96. They find the ball. Their ball is just scrambled around the free throw line. DiVincenzo has to pick it up. Brunson gets the luckiest bounce on a three you will get on a horrific shooting night for him, which we'll get to later on. But somehow, you would think, here's what Kyle Lowry should have done. As a championship player with a championship head coach, what you need to do right before you inbound the ball. Timeout. Timeout right away. Do they do that? No, they don't. They do not do that.
They panicked.
They panicked. Maxey was getting double teamed. I was the only guy Lowry could get it into. He lost the ball, tried to call timeout. And first off, when Nick Nurse tried to call timeout, the refs were like, no. And they just ignored him. Tried to do it another time, ignored him. And it kind of just went out of nowhere. The Knicks end up with the ball back. They get it to Dante again. He can't make the shot. They get the rebound. Hartenstein gets it, and they find a way to get it to Dante again. Ice in his veins. The Nova boys somehow pull off the greatest miracle I think I've ever seen at the Garden. And
Probably since 8 points in 9 seconds.
yeah,
They had their own version of it. 8 points in 26 seconds or whatever it was.
beating out what Reggie Miller did, doing the choke thing to us. Yeah, basically. But I think really what this sums up is you really just have to fight for everything you got, no matter if the refs don't call anything or not.
Yeah.
Because if coaches want to get a timeout, we know what Eric Spoelstra has done. I've heard things about him from what he does. You have to get the refs' attention. And at the Garden, it's a hard thing to do because that crowd is so loud. You have to get to the nearest ref, get their signal so you can get the timeout. And Matt, I'll let you go on in this, but I know the 76ers were not able to do that.
Well, okay, here's the thing. So, yes, Brunson gets the bounce. I'm sure if that doesn't happen, then nothing else happens. But whatever, okay, like no big deal. You're still up 2. He got the lucky bounce. Okay, so like you said, once Lowry has to like start moving, and Maxey's doubled. And this is where it goes on Nick Nurse. You have to your guys have to know how many timeouts you have. I think the Sixers only had 1 left, but I don't care. Use it. Use the timeout. And I understand why the refs don't. Well, first off, Maxey got fouled before the ball was even inbound. I'm pretty sure like Brunson grabbed like the back of his jersey or something.
So did Josh Hart.
Yep. And then so they didn't call it right there. And then after the ball gets inbound, like I understand Maxey has the possession of the ball when Nick Nurse is like trying to call a timeout. Again, like you said, he has to run out there like Spo and get the timeout in. But a ref in that situation, if it looks like there's a fight for the ball, and there was because Maxey fell down. I know he still had possession. The refs are not just going to like end the play right there. Then you've got the angry fans. You've got the angry Garden, angry players all over the place, and yeah. But here's the thing. Yes, you lose the ball, but it's still not over yet because DiVincenzo, like you said, he gets a wide open 3 for the first one. He misses it, and it's get the rebound. Just get the rebound, halt all the craziness, and you're going to walk away with a win. But Hartenstein, now, why Nicholas Batum is still out on the 3-point line for this, I have no idea. He should be boxing out Hartenstein. Or Embiid, like why Embiid chose to box out Hart instead of Hartenstein, I have no idea. But regardless, Hartenstein gets it. I don't think he got to DiVincenzo right away. I think it was OG he got it to first. And then as soon as you give him the second opportunity, I just knew right there. I was like, that's going in. And then I threw my phone up and trying to replicate what I did. I literally threw my phone up in the air and I was just like, well, that's over. And I know that I think Maxey got like an okay look driving to the basket, but I don't know if Hartenstein got a piece of it or he just put too much of it off the backboard. That was rough, and it's going to take a lot of gall to try to come back after that. We'll see what happens game 3 in Philly. Same night as the NFL draft, by the way. So I'll also be keeping an eye on that. But backs against the wall, fall behind 3-0, and I don't see you making a 4-game comeback against this team. Not at all.
And we're going to talk about that right after the break here, because this has been one of the most intense playoff series, physicality-wise, I think I've seen in quite a long time. So this is going to be interesting to break down. We're going to talk about Game 3 and Game 4, of course, and the rest of this series and see what it has to look to, and Jalen Brunson to see if he can figure out and get out of this shooting struggle that he's in. And we'll talk about it right after the break here on Season 2, Episode 11 of Empire State Hoops. We'll be right back.
Hey there, basketball fans. Are you ready to take your love for the game to a whole new level? Well, listen up. We've got something that will make your hoop dreams come true. Introducing Sport Pros USA, the ultimate destination for all your backyard sport court needs. Whether you're a diehard Knicks fan or just looking for some slam dunk fun with your family, Sport Pros USA has got you covered. Picture this. It's a sunny afternoon in New York, and you step out onto your very own custom-built backyard basketball court. The court where legends are born and memories are made. A court where you can unleash your inner baller and shoot hoops like your favorite Knicks players. But it's not just about basketball. It's about family, friends, and fun. Whether you're hosting a game of horse with your buddies or teaching your kids how to dribble and shoot, Sport Pros USA brings the magic of the game right to your doorstep. Our courts are more than just a place to play. They're a place to connect, bond, and create unforgettable moments. And with Sport Pros USA, you can have it all, right in your own backyard. We're not just building courts, we're building dreams. Dreams of buzzer beaters, comebacks, and endless laughter. So why wait? Give us a call at 877-HOOPS-NJ or visit sportprosusa.com today to start designing your very own backyard basketball court. Remember, at Sport Pros USA, we believe that every home deserves a court, and every family deserves the joy of playing together. So don't just watch the game, be a part of it.
And we are back here once again, Season 2, Episode 11 of Empire State Hoops. I'm Adam Rothschild, and alongside me, that is Matt Vargo. And we've just talked about a ton of playoff stuff. The New York Knicks and the 76ers, of course, we concluded with. And now we're going to continue talking about this as the scene now shifts to your Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia for Game 3. And the 76ers really got to figure this out and get out of this struggle, because after Game 2's performance, we know what Embiid said, in the post game. He was like, oh, we should have been up 2-0, and you can tell his face was like this. It was like looking down, not making any eye contact. And
to be fair, I would be that. To be fair, after losing the way that they did on Game 2, I'd be completely dejected after that as well.
And there was also a reporter there that was speaking French, and he was like, "Oh, I don't speak French. Like, I'm not trying to speak French right now."
I didn't even notice that.
I just saw it like out of context. It just happened there. It was so weird, but like,
lovely.
Yeah. And anyways, with this, so I think for Game 3 for the 76ers, it's a must win, because last game you had Maxey and Embiid giving you everything they got, basically a flu game, and Embiid playing on one leg. It's like you need other guys to step up. Kyle Lowry wasn't there. The Knicks guarded him up well. Tobias Harris was a no-show, and
he's been no-showing the whole season.
Yeah, basically. And I mean, they got to have some guy that's got to step up out of nowhere. And I'll let you, since you know a lot more about this Sixers team than I do, I'll let you speak on this. What specific player on this team do you think is going to have to step up in these next 2 games in Philadelphia?
It seems so obvious, but it's got to be Tobias Harris. Like, he's been so unspeakably bad through the first 2 games. I mean, I would say Nick Batum, considering the play-in game, but Nick Batum is not giving you that same performance in the play-in ever again after that. But it's either, I got to go with either Toby or Buddy Hield. They traded for Buddy Hield at the deadline, and he has not been that good since coming on board. And again, I just want to put this into context. If you were to tell both of us before the series that Brunson would shoot 8 of 26 in Game 1 and 9 of 28 in Game 2, I believe, something like that. Meanwhile, Embiid scored 30 in both. Maxey has 29 and 35, respectively. Would you assume the Knicks are down 2-0 going back to Philly?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the reason that they're going up 2-0 is because everybody else outside of Brunson has stepped up. Meanwhile, everybody else on the Sixers has not. And I think not only do the Sixers need to win this game, I think they have to blow them out in order to kind of bring back some confidence. If it's like another grind-out game like Game 2 was and they win it this time by like 6 points, does that really instill confidence in the Sixers, and does it really instill any doubt into the Knicks? Now, I don't think any, regardless, blowout or close loss would really like hurt the Knicks' psyche because you'd still be up 2-1, but I don't know. I just feel like if it's another grinded out game, there's no reason to feel confident in Philly. Like, I feel like they have to blow them out by at least 15, 20 points to try to bring back some momentum to their locker room.
Well, that's what happened with the Knicks last year. They won Game 1 in Cleveland. Game 2, they shit the bed and basically lost right there. And it was like, they just didn't have enough. And, Randall almost got hurt that game too. So it's just like that. So I think when it comes to this game, you really got to step up. You have the crowd behind you. You just got to do it. That's the thing. And
well, they also trounced Cleveland in games 3 and 4, if I remember correctly, at MSG last year.
Yeah, because the Garden, they just had the home crowd behind them. In Cleveland, there was nobody else stepping up besides Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Mobley and Allen were a no-show. They couldn't get anything.
No. Yeah, I think. I mean, Wells Fargo will be the Wells Fargo Center. It'll be loud. It always is, but I just think that you got to blow them out in Game 3, and if you do that, I don't care how you win Game 4 because then you protected your own home court, and then it's a best of 3. You played well in Game 2 at MSG, and we'll see what happens from there. But on the Knicks side, you have to go up. If you're going back to MSG, it has to be up 3-1. If it's 2-2, then Philly's got more momentum, and we'll see. Now, obviously, you'd have the Garden behind you, but then they've won back-to-back, and that makes Game 5 pivotal because win at home, win the series, because then it'd be 4-3. But if you lose Game 5 at home, then you're going back to Philly in Game 6. You would have lost 3 in a row. Not good all around. You got to go up at least 3-1 if you're through the first 2 games in Philly. You don't have to sweep, but you got to at least take one there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking with this situation. Even if we let Philly sneak one game in and the Knicks can win one game on the road, they'll have Game 5 at home to close it out and have a little bit of a break before they go on to the second round. But before we close things out here, I want to touch on Jalen Brunson. I know we've mentioned it a couple times here, but his shooting coming into the playoffs, he had a great way to end the regular season with the win over Chicago. He had a 40-point piece to clinch the second seed. But since then, Game 1, 8 for 29 or whatever it is, and same thing with Game 2, he just struggled. And he's lucky, very lucky, that they got a lot of help. That's the thing here. He got very lucky. And Game 3 and Game 4, he's going to have to be the guy to lead the way. He's going to have to be scoring points in bunches. That's what's going to have to be for this Knicks team. And he's going to have to step up and find a way to just get something going for him on the offensive side of the ball.
One thing I'll give him this, though, is that despite the shooting slump, he's never checked out of the game. Like, he's still hustling. He's still trying to get teammates involved, even though his own shot's not falling. Because it's very easy to just go like, it's not my day. I'm just not going to really try to get shots up. He's still shooting, even though he's really been ice cold. But I think, and that's the more concerning thing about it, is that you got the 2 awesome Embiid and Maxey games at MSG. You got the 2 awful Jalen Brunson games, and you're still down 0-2. Like, there's no reason to think that Jalen Brunson is going to continue to shoot like this for the rest of the series. Now, if he does, then massive pressure back on the role players, who Tibbs has been playing a lot of spin recently. Like I said, Josh Hart, I'm pretty sure, played all of Game 2, played almost all of Game 1. So we'll see when those guys start to flame out, but we'll see if he's got time to regroup himself because they won the first 2, but he's got to figure it out. And if he does figure it out, there's no reason to think the Sixers will come back then.
Yeah, and they're going to have to figure that out soon because game 3 on Thursday, it's going to be an exciting one at the Wells Fargo Center, of course, so we'll see what happens. Make sure to tune into that one as well.
Yep.
And this episode of Empire State Hoops has been powered by Sport Pros USA. For more information, visit sportprosusa.com or call 877-HOOPS-NJ to make your dream court a reality today. So, from what we've seen so far with the NBA playoffs, it's been nothing but perfection, excitement, intensity, Knicks, Sixers, physicality, and now that series is now shifting to Philadelphia for Game 3 at the Wells Fargo Center. Game 4 will be on Sunday at the Wells Fargo Center, followed by Game 5, if there is a Game 5, back at the Garden on Tuesday. That will also be at night as well. So
pretty sure there's 2 days off between the games in Philly, and then it's just 1 day off the rest of the way, I think.
5, 6, and 7 is 1 day off, I'm pretty sure. So that's what the case will be for that. And we'll see what happens with the rest of this series, as I cannot wait to see how it unfolds after all the drama that's happened in New York. Now it all shifts to Philadelphia, so we'll see what happens with that. And from here on this episode of Empire State Hoops, I'm Adam Rothschild. That's Matt Vargo. And we'll see you next week for some more playoff talk. Have a good one, everyone. See ya.
Peace.